update. I've been updating our Skypecast YouTube, so all the contents are there, yeah, including the PowerPoint I show you. I made into a movie is there as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
I want to say something. My friend love our video podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
Yeah.
he give me one feedback.
Yeah.
It's a very funny feedback. He say, Casey, the last meeting, which is yesterday,
Right.
he actually listened through. It's so amazing, right?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so appreciate that. But he said that, Casey, the last meeting, Michael talked so much.
Yeah.
No, I say one. He said one. So
no, you give me his contact. I ask him. So you give me a contact. I ask him to verify.
I say, hey.
Yeah.
I say, wait, I haven't finished. I say, hey, join us for the meeting, but he's busy. I invited him. He's busy. Then I say, join us. I say, Casey, if I join your video, right, I already think you talk so much. You talk even more. Then I'll be very quiet.
Okay, we take turns to talk. Okay, somebody have to manage the time, and we take them to manage the time.
It makes me feel very good because I thought I talk a lot. Now you talk even more. So, I'm not that bad, is it? So, Michael, it's not us like the virus. It's the virus. It's a virus for
correct.
Correct.
Deprived of talking, lah. I mean, being locked down home for so long, deprived of talking. I've been talking to war, and I'm sick and tired of it. I want to find a human to talk to.
What do you miss about going outside? Tell me. Beside the coffee, tell me the truth, okay?
What do I miss?
Yeah.
The usual stuff that I do outside, let's say having coffee with you face to face. The interactive part is still important. The human face is still important. After coffee, we can stroll into a camera shop, look, see, buy some, touch some, ask some, and find out some. All right. To me, it's part of therapy and also a way to gather knowledge and getting myself prepared for future projects. That knowledge may come in handy, right? Oh, Edward, I didn't know you have this gadget. What does it do? Oh, you can do X, Y, and Z, Then I pack the information into my head, correct? Because I went to the shop and the gadget is there, all right? And there's a lot of gadgets. So I'm using one gadget as an example. And then maybe weeks later, I say, oh, yeah, I got a project. Maybe I can introduce this gadget into my project to make it a bit more, valuable to my customers or bring some, up my skills, in things I do for a living. So that part is missing. Imagine you don't have that, then the next video is going to be the same. Michael is at home. Michael have the same kind of equipment because the shops out there are closed, So it'll be the same old thing. It'll be the same old thing. All right. So that part to me is important. We spend 8 hours, 10 hours. All right. This part of going into a small shops and educate myself and get myself ramp up is an important part of the 8 hours. Right. Now, if that is taken away, then so that means I'm not growing as much as I would love to. Right. So that one is saying, you see, being out there in the MRT, especially in public transport and public places, I can compare the time I was driving and the current time that I'm taking the public transport. When I was driving, I'm pretty cut away from the public vibes. I do not know how people feel, what the tension is like, what the stress level is like. I park my car, I take the lift, I go up, I do my work. All right. And it over and over again, 365 days, the same thing, 10 years, 20 years down the road, we're pretty much the same routine, right? And I'll be cut off from the work. I become more selfish. I don't know how people feel. What is it like to take the MRT? What is it like to cram into an MRT? What is it like you're tired, you wanted to sit in the bus and you have no seat? Now, if I have that mingle with the public, out in the public, I can feel for them. I can give up myself. I can be a bit more humanistic. So I lost that the community connectivity is not there. All right. Take for example, I know a lot of the whole world is doing this. Oh, let's gather a million people to sing online and we put a video together. Well, it's nice. It's a burst of motivation, but at the end of the day, I don't feel it. I just tuck it away. The video is gone. I have no feeling. If it's a full one choir in a stadium, the thought will still linger in my mind, right? Correct. So it lasts a bit longer. It's a bit more tangible, you see. Digital is still non-tangible, right? So those are the things I miss. Yeah. So missing being part of a community, missing the knowledge that I need to acquire to sharpen my skills in my business, missing the interaction with close ones, Yeah, so those are important things, at least to me, if that question is posed to me. Well, anyway, that's a long introduction before we jump into our topic. Right.
No,
Hey, why don't
what I miss,
Uh-huh.
what I
Right.
miss is I miss the human interaction.
Absolutely, yeah. Right.
I miss really miss the interaction. I hate the new normal, I call it, right? Like when I go to the supermarket, I had to queue up to go in. I don't see faces anymore. Everybody
Yeah.
is just come.
Exactly.
People
Right.
talk anymore.
Right.
People shun away from each other,
Right.
I miss the smile on faces. I miss smiling to strangers. I
Right.
miss saying good morning to strangers. I miss saying
Mhm.
hello to strangers. I miss
Right.
all this. I miss I miss sitting in a cafe, especially,
Right.
and I miss looking over the other table and look at, wow, that babe is beautiful. I miss all this, I
Right.
miss
Right.
the time. So that's what I have missed, and it's feeling very compressed in time and space
Right.
where needed to be exploded, and it's quite cramped up. Yeah, yeah.
Right. So
This is
yeah.
what I mean.
Right. So imagine someone is in prison, Casey.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. The
Yeah,
only contact time they have is like school days, or recess time, you get to meet your cellmate, that kind of thing. And
yeah,
other than that, you spend time in your cell. And those hardcore one is even worse, right? They are really isolated from the rest,
yeah.
as if they have the disease, they have the corona, they are in the ICU and all by themselves, you know.
I
So, and these are
totally
like, oh, life in prison life in prison, that means forever he's going to die in the prison. Man, I mean, then what's the point of keeping this guy, right? Must I hang him and save the cell space and taxpayer money? So
okay.
anyway, hey,
Can
ask your
you
friend to join you if he wants
imagine?
to, yeah.
No, I did ask.
Okay,
Can
all right.
you imagine
So
those people who
no
are
obligations, no obligations, right? No
no, I
obligations.
was
Yeah,
saying, can you imagine those people who are in prison? They have no internet. They have no good food. They have no snacks.
right, right.
And
And no
we
sex, no sex. Yeah, uh-huh.
they can live it. There's not a lot to that.
Yeah. That one is important. That one.
But you see, so that's how humans are made, right?
Right.
But okay, I have today topic is about acting.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I want to start with this.
Uh-huh.
In the old days, right?
Right.
Shakespeare's
Right.
Shakespeare's
Right. Uh-huh.
coffee again.
Uh-huh.
I saw
Right.
your head looking up. Are you ordering a
No, no,
coffee?
no. I'm going into the Google. Right.
I thought you're looking at your wife now on the coffee.
No. I have three. Actually, I have three monitors. You know that, right? Yeah. So I may look at here, I may look at that. I may look at. I'm using the laptop with you, right? Correct. Correct. Yeah. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
talking about
I'm listening.
Shakespeare.
Yeah. Right.
I okay. The history says that he's so good, that he became like he's a movie star. He's the director of today. He's the author. He directs. He authored the scripts and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But
Right.
to me, his story may not be the best, but his storytelling skill is good enough.
Yeah. Again, yeah. Back to. I think the topic we discussed yesterday. It can go on for a few more sessions, but acting is part of it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
the way he presents it is the state of the art.
Right.
So
Right.
Romeo and Juliet become the best story ever told.
Right.
You
Right.
see,
Right.
there must have another love story that is so good, but just
Right.
wasn't presented.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Mm.
from there's so much potential in the history. We just don't look at it. Everybody thinks that, oh, this food is good. Oh, this is good. You know, the only way to cure your headache is, you see, this is how it was.
Right.
Can I use the word act out?
Right. 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 True. Is your daughter in speech and drama?
No, I'm going to put her in,
Okay.
but she's in the ballet.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. She likes it, Bella?
Oh yeah, like
Okay.
she's
All
dancing
right.
every day at home.
Oh,
I,
oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I
It is.
actually
Yeah.
have no
Okay.
regret putting her in ballet.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we put her in ballet, right, is because she asked for it. She says she wants to dance, so we sign her up in ballet. So,
Right.
then 1 year later, she say, "Daddy, I want to learn how to swim." Then we sign her up in a swimming lesson. We do
Right.
not sign up our kids because we want it. We sign up, and then she say she want to learn the violin. Right. Then say can, but we don't have the time. Not that we don't want to bring you. You know, there's so much time we can spare to bring you to somewhere to learn something. Okay,
Right.
you're talking about drama, right? The
Mm.
acting and drama, which is come to this. Why I thought about acting is because I mentioned to you about my friend, right? He said he want his kids to learn the acting, to be good in acting, because
Right.
look at President Trump. You
Mm-hmm.
know, his presentation is good. He know how to talk, and he know how to convince people in his wrong way. That
Right.
is about being a president.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you look at certain presidents in the world, which I don't want to mention names in the world. You
Mm-hmm.
know that you don't. I can't remember. I actually can't remember her name. You know, and because there's showing face is not being a president.
Mm.
That's what I meant.
Right. Right. Right.
I'm not
Okay.
talking no politics here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I just know that is how comfortable we can get or how much we can trust the government.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Right.
acting skill is basically the base of survivor. Let's say in business, yeah. Learning the finances is one. Presentation, acting is two. I
Right.
suppose. You know? Yeah.
Correct.
How
Right.
I want to talk about this acting skill in this perspective. Yeah.
Right. Right. You see, I do not know much about this topic, but these are my 2 cents worth, or these are my observations over the years. Um, I think pretty much dependent on where we come from, right? I think culture has a very big part of it. if we look at the Asian culture in general, Asian culture. So take Singapore as a context, right? Pretty much Asian, Chinese descent. Um, Many a times as a kid, my parents says, oh, you're a young boy, you keep quiet, you don't interfere when adult is speaking. Oh, when you're eating your meals, don't talk. So we are pretty much discouraged. Oh, in school you must ask permission to speak. The way you ask permission to speak is to raise your hand, and teacher will give you the permission to speak. Uh, in the hall, we say, hey, we have to observe silence, and so a lot of time we are discouraged speaking. I know they have their rules for not speaking, but it appears to me that, my gosh, every time is like, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk. And if I don't talk, I cannot act, right? Sometimes acting is not, it goes beyond just gesture. It could be a mental thing, it could be a body language. So growing up in that environment, I become a very local, typical type of, oh, ask permission, don't talk, don't talk. Adult is speaking, don't talk. Manager is always right, yes sir, I will do that, yes sir, I will get it done today, yes sir. We came from that culture, all right. We came from a culture where our feelings and emotions are suppressed. We keep it to ourselves. We say, okay, I can tolerate. I've been tolerating for as long as I live, right? But having stayed in US for a while, there are at least a chance to be exposed, to that culture of, oh, you talk, you talk, you talk. What do you think? Every time in class and every occasions that I have interacting with my schoolmates and roommates, there's always conversations and, oh, what do you think? Oh, what if, it's very stimulating, all right, and entertaining as well, depending on the type of friends I'm with. So it's a very different culture. So to them, it's very natural. Okay, so the Western education is, even you don't go to school, it's natural. They talk, they express. All right. If they will ever go to school, and most of them go to school like us, all right, they have show and tell. And show and tell is so damn important. Show and tell is a life skill, just like copy and paste. It has become a life skill. Everybody must know copy and paste the moment they turn on their devices. It's so important, just like show and tell in the Western world, right? Show and tell means at very young age, you bring a toy to school, all right? I remember my nephew, uh, he would bring a toy to school, and he talks about the toy. Uh, he would do some drawings in a drawing class, and he's given a chance to express what he was doing on a canvas, on a piece of paper, all right? He was also, this is just high school or junior high. Junior high is like sec 1, sec 2, something like that. He has to he have to cook a dish, bring to school enough for the students and teacher, maybe 20 person portion, and share the recipe and thinking of making it into a business. So I was helping him with a poster, very simple poster, one big picture, one big word, and he has to do a show and tell. So it is at that age, they are given the opportunity to present, to sell, not to sell, to communicate the ideas. Oh, I bake this because, oh, in my culture, I have this, right? You're sharing a story, you're telling a story. And then in front of the class, you are pretty much acting up, right? You're acting as well because you talk with your hand gesture, you talk with your facial expression. All right, acting is not about just dressing up, putting on makeup, under the spotlight action. That is movie.
Yeah.
You will grow into it, but you must have this stage first before you grow into that stage. Or on the main stage. Can you hear me, Casey?
Sure.
Yeah, it's a bit kind of freeze for a while. Okay, the video. So anyway, we don't have the opportunity here unless you send your kid to international schools or you send your kid to a private place to, they adopt the Western format of education. They're exposed to it. But that doesn't mean you cannot do it at home, right? Yeah, you spend time with your kids, and you say, just like you are spending 1 hour with me to do Skype, you may spend half an hour with your daughter. Say, hey, every 2 o'clock every day we start in May, all right? You do something, you do a show and tell in front of your kids, your wife, right? Correct. Yeah. So I think it's a very good practice, right? And don't correct them. Oh, you should say this. Don't correct. Let them be as natural as possible. The
Yeah.
only way to teach them is to prompt question. Oh, Olive, what do you think if your dog has no shoes? Oh, I will feel very sad for the dog because it will hurt his feet. You see, you are, yeah. So that's a way of teaching them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you should use red. Oh, you should use blue. Oh, you should start by telling introduction. Forget about it's only a kid telling a story. Let them go free. Right. So that is acting. You can cultivate some acting in. Doesn't matter it's right or wrong. So long the values are correct. So long the values are righteous. Right?
Yeah.
Correct. So
I
I think it can be a very nice half an hour of entertainment at 2 to after lunch or before lunch or what. Right? Yeah. So it's an interesting topic. Yeah. Other than that, if you want to dive deeper into acting, I can connect in my next our Skype. I would try to connect. I would invite Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise to participate in our Skype. Hey, I'm serious, man. KC, yeah, don't take me too lightly, okay? Yeah. Steve Jobs was on my right, his home. Tom Hanks is on my left, actually. Yeah. Tom Cruise rented a basement in my home, so he's just. Yeah.
I you cruise.
Yeah. KC, you're breaking up, so I can't quite hear you. I think at some point I was also breaking up. Yeah, yeah, correct, correct.
No, I say you lie. You're a liar. Tom Cruise was my boyfriend. Yeah.
Oh,
So no, he had never stayed in the basement. No.
yeah. I thought it's not about lying; it's about acting and telling stories. So some stories are fiction, some stories are non-fiction, but they are both stories. Right? The
Agreed,
word
agreed.
the word lie
You
has
did.
never exist. The word lie has never existed in my vocabulary. So it's just fiction acting or non-fiction acting. Same thing. Story fiction or non-fiction. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I mean, the what I do with my kids, right? Like Olive. Recently we started a YouTube channel for her, so
Oh,
she will start to draw and teach people how to draw step by
oh,
step.
interesting. Okay.
And
All right.
and and the true fact is, there's no editing. There's no okay, I teach you first, okay? She's like start with a blank piece of paper and she start doing it. But the cooking, yes, of course, we'll tell her, okay, Olive, these are the ingredients. Then she'll look at other YouTubers how they do the cooking. Then
Okay.
we'll
Right.
prepare for her. Then she'll open up. She'll say, okay, we need 300 grams of this flour.
Right. Right.
Then
Right.
I'll disturb her. No, flour. It's flour. No, that is flour. And
Right.
so she will do
Uh-huh.
all that. When she was like preparing, then she stopped. Then we will take over.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right.
so this is uh, um. She get angry. We didn't take the angry part. We had to tell her, okay, you're angry. You have to act like you're okay. So these are all
Mm.
skills that we all do for fun, and yet
Great. Yeah.
it's a good training ground when they grow up, right? They know what
Right.
is presentation. They know how to face the camera or the people. Could I say that the camera will be the main thing in life in the future? And that is the fact. You
Right.
have to to this dot now, not face to face.
Right.
It's sad. Uh, I I also foresee also to talk about many years ago. There's this technology on the jacket, on the jacket where when I do this, when you wear a jacket, when we sing together, you can feel that I'm hitting you. You can feel the same. Yeah, I'm seeing such technology will eventually get into the atmosphere of the AI of homeware. Will get because you want to feel that you are in the meeting. I see all these through so soon.
Yeah. I mean, technology is here to stay, and it just keep advancing lah as we age. So that's the fact. Yeah. So I'm glad. I didn't know you have a YouTube channel for your daughter. So which is a good thing. Yeah, which is a
Send
good
you the
thing.
link
Right.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So it's the same as show and tell at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Right. So it's the same thing.
So
Correct.
it's interestingly, right? She want to do like at first we say why don't you just do drawing, Then she came up with a name for her YouTube channel. It's
Right.
her own name. She created it. It's called Simply Olive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then after the naming, right? Then we say,
Uh-huh.
wow. So it's not just drawing, right? You can teach people how to cook. You can teach people how to swim. You can
Right.
teach people dancing. It's
Right.
all everything about olive. You know.
Right.
So see
Correct.
this how this thing what do you call that exploded in ideas. What you
Right.
can do in just from
Right.
an idea of show people how to draw.
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason why we want to do this not because we want her to be a superpower in YouTube. No.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that will show her the creativity of creations and part of it. And of
Right.
course, we believe in. I'm not sure if you believe in it. I didn't ask you before. DNA.
What?
The DNA, like for example, Olive is very talented in her arts and drawings, her
Okay.
colors, her senses, her 3D, the way she see things, is how all the upbringing also.
Right.
Like we travel, we see things, we talk about things, we discuss things. So this is
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So when she get into drawing and color, right, naturally her coloring is like, wow, I'm quite impressed with 8-year-old to color that kind of standards. Yeah.
Right.
So this is part of the kind of training that I believe.
Right.
Um, yeah. Coming to say this, right? Artists being artists and actors, they're also artists, right? They're not very well supported by the government. It's part of our life, but we are not the main people. Different from the older days. You realize that the old days, right? The arts are always above. Yeah, very much respected because we can change people's mind.
Mm.
Yeah, we can change the politics.
Mm.
Ideas are a very, very scary thing. That's
Mm.
why artists are suppressed. I read a poster from Mao Zedong, right? Art is never for art's sake. It's only for politics. That is what Mao Zedong said. Can you imagine? Quite interesting thing about that area, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So what will you
Did,
be doing today?
mm. You see, Casey, I do not know whether you have had a chance to read about the Renaissance period, the Roman periods, all right, where art is so important, all right, to the when I talk about Renaissance, I'm talking about the Catholics, the popes, the Vaticans. That's where the Renaissance is all started, right? Right. Art is the artists then are very well sorted, taken care of, and regard as people of very high level during those days. All right, because for the Pope to go about preaching about the words of God, um, sometimes words has a different meaning. Sometimes people interpret words very differently. All right. So art is used as an art form to glorify God and his power.
Yeah.
So if you look at the Roman arts, like wow, the marble stone of Mary and Jesus, the gift of life painting on the Sixtine Chapel, all those art, you go into Rome, you see everywhere arts, even the architecture has some form of power. They use columns, right? Like our Parliament House, you see columns. It means politics, strength, and stability.
Yeah.
All right, and it has influenced the world. Most government buildings will have these columns and triangle top and all this. So art was the most important way of communicating who God is, what it represents, and what the church represents. All right. So, like what you say, Mao Zedong is using art, propaganda posters to glorify his power, to
Yeah.
more so, not so much his power, more so his philosophy of communism, right? He will stand side by side with a peasant holding a shovel. He will stand side by side with a young mother with a red scarf, they call the red scarf, holding up the philosophy book. He will stand side by side with a truck driver, showing that we are strong as one. Those propaganda posters, right? Right. So he is as equal as the rest. I mean, communism is all about equal. It's not that he's up there. It is him that is preaching to the people in China that we are all equal, right? But in actuality, it's not true, lah. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's a good actor, but the posters, the propaganda, the arts is used as a way to communicate a philosophy or an idea. Because peasants are not educated those days. They can't read, they can't write, they cannot. By looking at
Mm,
a poster, it tells you, oh yeah, this is what our nation means, right? So it becomes a very important communication device that Mao Zedong has used successfully, I think, in his campaign, during his ruling years in China. Right. So same thing. The Romans did the same thing, right? Then after that was the Greek. Right? After the Renaissance period was the Greek. The Greek did the same thing. They took the Roman columns, they built their Pantheon, they built their Pentagon, they built their whatever, and they glorify gods as well, right? Big
yeah.
marble stones. But there is a little shift then. So the Greek has taken what is seems they still maintain the gods, but they have their own philosophy of gods. Right? They also glorify the human strength. So we see a lot of people, sculptures of human throwing a disc, throwing a spear, jumping very high, right?
Yeah.
So they glorify the human strength as well, right? Yeah, correct. So that is where arts have somehow shifted, and then now we have what we call the, I don't know, the modern art or the mixed media art. I don't even know what is the movement we're in right now. What should we call our movement? Is there a movement that the whole world is into right now?
Bullshit movement.
Bullshit movement. I thought it's a KC movement. All right. So that is a movement, but just that I've lost touch. Okay. The last known movement was some 20 years ago or 25 years ago. It's called mixed media, where the technology starts to come in from Apple and the Atari Game Boy and all this. It's all arts moving on the screen and you play a game on it. Yeah, it's mixed media. It's a hybrid lah. of painting the canvas and now painting digitally. So it becomes a mixed media. Singing is also a media. You put singing into it, becomes a video. So that is like 25 years ago terminology. I do not know whether it's still relevant today. All right, but I don't know. Yeah, correct. Or maybe the term called social media could be a movement by itself. I think it will be a movement, called social media, and that is like 10 years from now. And then what will be 10 years later will be a different movement altogether, or 50 years later will be a different movement altogether. All right, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, uh, that is all the knowledge I have about acting or non-acting. But I think uh, we should all practice every day. All right, to act a bit. When I say practice every day, I may do a show and tell. Not just your kid, you can do a show and tell. That's also one way to teach your kid, because they can mimic your way of doing a show and tell.
Right.
They can, right.
Are you not been acting in front of your wife for all these years?
That one is frictional acting or non-frictional acting. Yeah. So again, I think we are all acting, right? Whether we are frictional character or you're non-frictional character. All right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So we wear two hats, friction or non-friction, right?
Yeah. When my wife would just slap on me and just say, "Can you stop acting?" I say, "No, it's part of the act. When I stop, it's part of the act."
Yeah, correct. And her slapping is also an acting, right?
I mean, it's very interesting chat.
Right.
The next topic, I think tomorrow I'll try my best to invite Philip in. I'll send him a message now.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think you want to talk about tomorrow?
Well, why don't we let Philip decide and then we tune in? So at least he won't feel so intimidated. Oh my gosh, Casey, thanks for inviting me, but I only have like 3 seconds of speech. And the only thing I said in that 1 hour talk is, hey, good morning, Michael. Nice to see you again. And that was all I said.
All right, Michael. I'll
Yeah.
talk
Hey,
to
but
you
no,
tomorrow then.
but no pressure, Casey. No pressure, no
Of
pressure.
course,
All
of
right.
course, of
Now,
course.
if let's say Philip doesn't show up, okay, or Philip kind of not available, then what do you want to do tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll think of something.
Okay, we'll think of
We'll think of
something.
something.
Okay, good. All right. Okay then. All right, Casey.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Michael.
Right.
Have a good day.
Thanks.